Public hearing to order. Tonight we have a public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comment on the consideration of proposed amendments to the agricultural district ordinance. Mr. Poston?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't go through all of them as we've talked about them at a couple different meetings, but just for folks that may be here that hadn't heard what these amendments are in relation to, our agricultural district ordinance allows for the county to create a voluntary agricultural district and an enhanced voluntary agricultural district, and those are just some tools that that the county uses to work with our farmers and our farming community, our agricultural community, to preserve our agricultural uses and our agricultural history here in Jackson County. And the state, over the last few years, has made some minor amendments to state statutes which require us to come back in and change some of the language in the ordinance and modernize some of that language. So certainly, I'll be happy to go through all of that if the commissioners would like to have any questions. But I just open it back up to the commissioners if you have any questions about the amendments that we have proposed for tonight's hearing.
Questions from the commissioner?
We don't have anybody signed up, but certainly.
Does anyone like to speak on the agricultural commission district amendments? If not, is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? None opposed. We are closed. We got 2 minutes if y'all want to talk. Get started.
What would you like to hear about?
If I start early, I get in trouble. I don't like to get in trouble.
We're being respectful, aren't we?
That was a quick public hearing.
I will let you know. Thank you.
Yes, it is. Yes. They're driving and reading. Rarely. Reading glasses, yes. Which I broke them today, getting out of the car. Yeah, so now I've got another pair, I just need to find them. I'd rather not wear them because when I walk, the bottom bifocal bothers me. And I do have some bandage issues with my joints and everything, so I like to be able to see the way. Yeah, I've had them for years. I told you. I have a long distance glasses I keep in the car so I can see roadside. And then I have my reading glasses that I buy at Walmart for $4 in case I lose them. Then I have these, which are
We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. First up on the agenda tonight is approval of the agenda. If there are no changes to be made, I'll seek a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to our regularly scheduled approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on March 5th. If there are no changes that need to be made, seek a motion for approval of those minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to administrative reports. I have nothing to report tonight other than there's been a lot of speeding tickets that have been written recently, so please be wary, people. There's been more deaths this year than I think I can remember, just on 107, and the sheriff's office is out there trying to stop that from happening. So just watch your speed. I let a person pass me today, and I caught them, and this is leaving Cashers, caught them at the first red light in Cullowhee, so at the university at Cullowhee Mountain Road. They didn't get anywhere any faster than I did, so just be road wise, conscious of other people and drivers, and just know that deputies are out there doing their job,
So,
Any other commissioner reports?
No report tonight, Mr. Chairman.
no, sir.
Going now to county manager report, and Ms. Fox.
The license plate agency construction is complete. The office will open on Tuesday, March 26th. The location of the office is Skyland Service Center, 876 Skyland Drive, Silva, North Carolina, and the office hours will be 8 o'clock to 4:30.
Will they be closed for lunch or no?
No, they'll be
Okay.
open.
Just gonna,
That's a big change.
It
they're
is.
just gonna have to stand there and eat. Just everything.
This is where the public will come in, and this is inside where the office will be.
It's great.
It does.
Yeah,
Did our staff do that work?
They did.
Excellent job.
The North Carolina Department of Transportation State Project W5714W, which is the Chrysler Curve project, Keith Rogers had notified us that he's requested additional funding from the high impact, low cost funds that will secure enough funding to complete the project. And that project's on US 64 and Cashiers, about 0.8 miles east of SR 1119, which is Sapphire Post Office Road.
Is that going to be? It's not a straightening of it. It's just a like building up the shoulders and helping trucks get through. I know about every other day. I don't live far from this, so every other day there's a truck from Dollar General or Ingles that has fallen off the road, and there's a guardrail there, but I mean it's barely hanging on. So any improvement there would be
Be much needed,
much needed.
yes. And hopefully they'll get the funding and do it soon. And the Savannah Community Building, the handicap parking area has been completed. The drywall has been installed and they're currently painting the building. And it will be finished by Friday, March 22nd.
It's great.
That's all I have.
I have one question on the license plate agency. Do we know who was hired for those positions? Is that
Yes,
public record? Is that something that you can tell us?
yes, it's already been reported to the board. It's the same ones that were there before,
Okay.
both of them. So Jamie and Teresa. And then Sherman's office will be located there too.
You know, the money we invested in the Skyland Service Center at the time we acquired that property, did not realize how much of a positive impact it would have for the county.
And it has
Looking
had.
back years later.
No
No
comments.
comments tonight. Okay. Well, moving on now to the consent agenda. Ms. Fox with our finance report for February.
Okay. Go over the highlights for February. The general fund revenues collected to date, $64,616,471. That's 72.54% of budget. So that's over 5.87%. The general fund expenditures to date are at $50,741,030, which is 58.65% of budget. The revenues are $13,875,441 more than the expenditures. The ad valorem taxes collected to date, $43,399,251, which is 99.05% of budget. The motor vehicles collected, $1,124,698. That's 56.7% of budget. And the prior year taxes collected is $286,279. It's 57.24% of budget. We received a sales and use tax distribution in the amount of $1,852,494 for the month of February, which represents November sales. That amounts $223,508, more than the amount we received in February last year. The Article 46 distribution was $204,392. The average increase for the fiscal year through this point is 3.37%. The landfill disposal fees collected, $2,820,927. That's 92.29% of budget. And the prior year landfill disposal fees, $45,085. That's 53.04% of budget. The growth revenues we're tracking, all are above budget except the environmental health, and it's under 6.05%. But we're seeing a big increase in registered deeds at this point. So it's 10% over where the percentage should be. The general fund contingency balance at the end of February is $567,371.28. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? If not, I'll seek a motion to approve the finance report.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
And a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.
Thank you.
Moving on now to our budget ordinance amendments.
Okay. The first amendment is for $650,000. It's for capital outlay property. That's for the building for the Children's Health Alliance. And the purchase price is $610,000. The putting $40,000 in for repairs and maintenance for the building to get it ready. That money will be $500,000 from Dogwood Health Trust grant and $150,000 from fund balance.
Any guesstimate when that building will be available for use?
We're hoping to have it sometime in June ready.
Are there additional needs like furniture and things like that if,
There will be, all the bedrooms will have to be furnished and the living area will have to be furnished.
okay,
So that's not part of the 40,000.
no.
No.
That's just I guess the tub.
We gotta put a bathtub in with the shower unit and replace one HVAC unit and then minor repairs.
One of us asked about bunk beds versus regular beds, and it'd be interesting. I don't know what the maximum capacity for that facility will have, but after hearing Mr. Weatherford's comments about the number of children served and staying at DSS building proper, it would be as if we could put bunk beds in there and they met the code and gave us a threshold to house more children. It sure sounds like having a child stay here in Jackson versus going off to another county is the way to go. So however we can put as maximum use of that building, I'd like to see that.
Okay, they'll probably put some bunks in some of them and then some just individuals. If they have siblings, they can keep them together. Any other questions on that building? The next one is for health and social services. It's an increase of $476,034.75. It's basically funding from the state for aid to counties from ARPA funds they have, public health infrastructure, community impact North Carolina grant. There's a social service reduction in crisis intervention, increase in special child adoption, a slight decrease in child care subsidy, and a increase in low-income household assistance. Bless you. The next amendment is from general fund. It's the revenue replacement fund set aside. It's moving money from designated for future appropriation $493,794.80, and transfer to Greenways Fund. That is the total amount of the LATCF funds. The next one is an increase of $226,200. It's coming from North Carolina 911 PSAP funds for operations of the 911 center. The next one is a project ordinance amendment in the amount of $493,794.80. That's the transfer we had earlier from general fund for land acquisition in the Greenways Project Fund. And that's all. Be glad to answer any questions.
Questions from the board about the remaining budget ordinance amendments?
I'll make a motion to pass the budget ordinance amendments as presented.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Thank you.
Moving on now to new business, and it's the dental assisting hygiene renovations. Ms. Fox?
Correct.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm checking off things.
I mean, you can skip me. That's
I
fine.
don't, I mean, you stayed late, so let's go ahead. Miss Hanson.
So the tax collector's report for February, the total current taxes collected were $1,307,177. Delinquent taxes collected were $39,968. The total collected for the month was $1,418,161.97. There were refunds of $17.82, releases of $281.40, and the rate at the end of the month was 96.43%. Any questions?
Not, I'll seek a motion for approval of the tax. And second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Thank
you. I promise I won't skip you next time.
It's fine.
All right, now moving on to the SEC dental assisting and hygiene renovations. Ms. Fox.
Okay. These are the documents presented at the work session for capital improvement project approval from North Carolina Community College System. The first one is for the Founders Hall renovation dental program. The total amount of it is $1,514,335. And there is no commitment of local funds for this one.
Is there a motion to approve the dental assisting hygiene renovations?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Stribling?
Yes.
Chairman Letson?
Yes. Now the SEC capital improvement project.
Okay, this is for the library and other renovation projects. The total amount of it is $19,607,532, and it will require a commitment of $6,121,867 from the county over the life of the project, which will be 3 to 4 years.
And this completes the master plan for SEC,
It does.
building a
complete.
new library, renovating the current library. Yeah,
Everything.
everything. It's the last of the last.
And it creates a small business center.
Small business centers as well. That's right. So is there a motion for approval of this capital improvement
So
project?
moved, Mr. Chairman.
And a second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Stribling?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Chairman Letson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up for legislation, we have the agricultural district ordinance amendment from the public hearing we just had. So,
Again, Commissioners, I'll be glad to go over it again if you need me to, but I think we've covered it a couple times in a couple different meetings. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer these. Again, these are amendments that are brought on through changes to state statute that and they're minor in nature, and just kind of going through line items about definitions and wording and things of that, and very similar types of changes. So nothing substantial, nothing that changes any of the programs.
Any questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve the amendments?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Stribling?
Yes.
Chairman Letson?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions from press tonight? We do have a need to go into closed session. Excellent. For legal and real property. So is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We'll take a quick 5-minute break. Coming out of closed session, we have a property that we would like to acquire. It's parcel 7650-41-6739. Mark Van F. Hooper, Eugene Gay Reddick, and Lynn Monday, co-trustees of the Eugene Hooper Family Trust. It's 3.30 acres with a purchase price of $300,000 on the Tuckasegee River off of University Heights Road. Is there a motion to purchase this property at $300,000?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second,
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Strickland,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Chairman Ludson.
Yes.
With that, is there any further discussion tonight's meeting? If not, I'll seek a motion for adjournment. A second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We are adjourned.